Hi guys, welcome to tonight's team call. I have some great content for you guys. I'm going to be talking about how you can brand yourself, which is something I'm super excited about because I've put a lot of work and a lot of energy into it recently. So I'm excited to share with you my tips. Before we get started, I want to do my normal to shut down any distractions you guys have going on. I've already closed down my Facebook so you don't hear bling, 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 bling going on while we're talking, so that we can really focus in on giving our business a few minutes of dedicated learning time right now. And once I'm done, we'll open it up to chat with everybody. Before we get started, I want to remind you that tomorrow's Monday and it's a national wake-up call, so make sure you check in with that. If you're on the team page, we will be bumping that post and letting you know what's going on there. Okay, so today, and I'm going to share my slideshow. Today we're going to talk about branding yourself, and more importantly, with branding yourself is attracting your tribe, attracting the type of people that you want to work with based on your personality. And this is the beauty of our business, because we get to attract the type of people we want to work with, which means that we have so much flexibility to be completely who we are and attract the people that enjoy that. There's no covering up our personality or trying to make sure, like those of us that have a few cuss words slip now and then, like that we're not having to hide that, because we want to have people in our midst that are accepting of us completely. So, here, is it not letting me go? Okay, there we go. Okay, so when I first started with my branding, I had a few setbacks, and one of them was, who am I to have a brand? A few of the random thoughts that flowed through my mind were branding is for egos. You know, a few of the people that I had seen working their brands were people that were very boastful of themselves, and that wasn't necessarily me, and that was something I used as a setback for myself. Another one is, I'm not interesting enough. Like, to create a brand, you have to think of what you are that is special. And at the time, I hadn't thought of anything that was special about myself aside from everybody else. I'm like, I'm just a mom. I'm just this person. And the next quote, I don't even remember who I am anymore. I cannot even tell you guys how much this is true, because when I first started my branding, I'm like, I don't even know what colors I like. Like, I know what colors I said I liked as a child, but I don't know what my favorite colors are. And so this journey to finding my own branding really has meant a lot of finding who I am that separates myself from who I was as a child, from who I am now as I've grown. So branding forces you to own your voice. It forces you to choose your exact voice that you have to share with the world and to hone in on it in a way that is so confidence building, guys. It also exposes the human behind your business. So it's not like we're out there just posting, you know, this is the 21-day fix sale, which is on sale this month, but we're not just saying 21-day fix, Shakeology, like get your workout in. We're not just doing these product things. We're not an infomercial on Facebook. That is not what we are at all. And by having our own unique brand aside from Beachbody, we are able to really create something where it builds a lot of trust. It creates a cohesive experience for our followers. So as our followers start to learn what our posts look like, what they feel like, what the type of lingo we have with each one of our posts, it helps them feel comfortable. It builds that trust. It makes it so that they feel like, oh, this is the type of person she is, and these are the type of problems that I can go to her for help with. That is exactly what you guys want. I've also put on here the 50-50 rule, because when I first started my branding, I did a lot of research to figure out who I was specifically, what my story was, and I created my brand solely off of that. Now, the reality is sometimes we are not our own brand. Like, we are not our own ideal customer. And when that happens, we have to make sure that we have flexibility. So the 50-50 rule is your ideal customer profile, and right there in the middle between the two 50s is your brand. It's a 50-50 split of who you are and who your ideal customer profile is. So we have a crazy amazing resource in the Misfit Republic CEO Planner, and it is this Your Ideal Customer sheet. Now, I love reprinting this out like every month and a half, 2 months, whatever, regularly through the year. I will print this out again and hone in on it again, because when I first started, my ideal customer was someone that needed a lot of help. They needed a lot of mental support as they were navigating some big struggles. And it's because, you guys know the story with my mom, but my mom lost her battle with bipolar. And my goal since starting as a coach has been to save the mom. So for me, since my goal is to save the mom, I was attracting a lot of people that needed every ounce of my energy. And it started to become to that point where I had no energy left to spend on myself and to spend on my family. So I had to go back to my ideal customer profile and adjust that just a little bit, adjust my lingo. And instead of my lingo being like, who needs help, who feels lonely in the world, who feels like no one will be their friend, it had to switch to be like, if you had exactly the tools you needed, would you take advantage of them and would you make it work? Do you know what I mean? It's just a little switch. It's still attracting the same type of person, but it's attracting that person that is in the mindset to make a change. And so that is why I think it's really important to redo our ideal customer profile, or at least make a few little tweaks in it regularly to kind of keep up where we are on our mental journey, on our physical journey, and things like that. So we're helping the right people and attracting the right people for the energy we have to give the whole time. So you aren't always 100% your ideal customer. And I learned this in photography because when I was running my photography business, I had a really hard time pricing myself what I thought I was worth, because I knew that I couldn't afford to enlist myself with my services. Say I was going to go out to hire a photographer, I wouldn't be able to hire myself. And I was talking to my business mentor, and she said, you are not your ideal customer, so stop speaking to yourself. And it really clicked for me that for my marketing purposes, I didn't need to market to myself. I am a penny pincher like nobody's business. I love a good deal. I love buying used things, or, I love hand-me-downs. That's just who I am. So for me to expect that someone's going to spend $1,000 to $2,000 on my photography skills when I'm not willing to spend that was unrealistic. So we really have to, that's why this ideal customer page is so super important, especially if you are wanting to attract people that are not exactly like you. As you're going through this, be specific and visualize that exact ideal customer. Do not be afraid to go super cheesy on this, because when I was going through it, and when I first went through this, we did not have this sheet to go by. It was a lot of just like closing your eyes and meditating and trying to imagine every single detail of your customer avatar. And it was like, what kind of handbags are they carrying? What's in their handbag? What are they wearing? What does their home look like? What is their day-to-day little tiny trinkets like, so that you can put yourself in their shoes? But that visualization helps me so much because I'm such a visual person. So as you're going through this, instead of just answering 1 or 2 words, go through and answer so much, and don't stress perfection. This is not like, when you fill this out, it's not ironclad. This is not the person you're talking to for the rest of your business. This is just who you're working on focusing to. When you're creating a post and when you're drafting words to change someone's life, you're going to use this ideal customer profile to really visualize that person and adjust your words accordingly. So don't stress perfection. Be descriptive, but don't feel like it's stuck there, because you're going to come back and you're going to change it as you see what works and what doesn't work. So some of the things that I like to do when I'm picturing my ideal customer profile, one thing is, when we did this, you were picturing your customer avatar, the wording has changed a little bit. I liked to imagine what kind of magazines they would read. And the reason is because, say you go to the store, you go to Myers, to Walmart, to whatever, and you go through the magazine section, you can pick up that magazine and see all of the different things that your ideal customer profile is into. Say they're into like Women's Health magazine. You can flip through the pages and see what kind of fonts they use, what kind of color tones they use, what kind of aesthetic. Is it clean or is it busy? Is it really dark and modern, or is it light and bright colors? By picking what kind of magazine you think they would be reading, it's really actually going to help you with your branding, because you'll be able to see what kind of branding they're already exposed to, what already speaks to them. And then along with the magazines, as you're flipping through, you'll see the types of brands they prefer. Women's Health, maybe they prefer Athleta, or they prefer Lululemon, or however you say that, Lululemon, I don't know how you say it. But if you're looking at O magazine, maybe they prefer some things that are more mainstream, more available to the like normal woman, or, you know, like all of these things you're able to pick up by looking through these magazines. Honestly, I didn't even buy the magazines I was looking at, but I was able to get an idea of the top brands or the top aesthetics that my ideal customer profile was going for. Instagram is also another fantastic place for it, and I was going to post, I have the next page. I like to go on Instagram and look up the profiles that speak to me directly, and a lot of times it's just someone's face, and someone's face on their profile just really speaks to my heart. And for some reason, I could see myself sitting down and having coffee with them. I could see myself chatting with them for a few hours and forgetting that the time has run away with me. Just something in their face has told me that they're someone I could connect with. Now this girl that I've posted on here, because my branding is so specific on my MilSpouse on a Mission page, well, I was like, I clicked her picture and she so spoke to me. Like her image just spoke to me. I could see kindness in her eyes. I could see that friendliness to her. To me, she looks open-minded. I think because the gauging to her ears, she looks like someone who has an open-minded and lives without judgment. I may be making this up. It's okay. Anyway, so when I click her picture and I read her little tidbits, her about me, she's a military spouse. She's into photography. She is into CrossFit. Like literally, she is my customer avatar, guys. Because my branding is so specific, I've attracted her. She's already liking my page. Anyway, so what I'm trying to tell you guys is I went to her page and I started like scrolling through the different things she's posted. It's not stalking, it's research is what I said at the top, because it's really not. But I was able to go through and kind of pick up like, what are the color tones she's using? What kind of fonts does she like? What kind of posts is she drawn to because of what she's posting? And while I'm not going to copy what she's doing, I can screenshot these and create a file in my phone or in my computer of post inspiration that shows me what my ideal customer avatar is already doing. And I love this because it's almost taking the work away from you guys. You guys are just doing what we would normally do, scrolling around on social media, interacting with other people, meeting new people. But in this way, you're doing it so that you can build your own brand and figure out the voice of the people you are talking to. Also, when building my ideal customer profile, because I'm so visual, I love to have a face connected with it. So when I'm about to create a post, say I have a quote and it's amazing and it speaks to me directly. As I'm typing, I stop and I think, and I picture their face, and I picture all the different things that I've already written about them, and then I write the post exactly to them. And what I love about this is there are so many times people have messaged me and said, oh my gosh, it's like that post was meant just for me. And I can't tell you what that does for me. It's like, I just feel like I'm winning when that happens, because they're exactly the type of person that I wanted that post to be for. And it happens so purposefully that I love it. And so now I feel like I don't have to shy away from being me. I can be myself on social media because I've done so much work to make it my social media. When I hear that people have deleted me or blocked me, or they don't even follow me anymore because I don't have the type of post they like, I'm like, that's amazing. That's great. I love that, because we're obviously not a good fit together, and we would waste so much energy trying to work with each other that I'm really happy that they're repelled by what I'm putting out, because we're not meant to work together. So all of this research, all of these things that you're going to do are going to make those people that you want to work with just gravitate to you. And that's why it's so important. I love watching all the color tones. I love seeing what's happening on their pages because they're going to be drawn to those same things when we start posting. So it's fantastic. I highly suggest creating a file on your phone or on your computer where you can go to for daily inspiration. Maybe it's quotes, maybe it's the type of posts, or just the overall feel of it all. So now we move to creating content. You already know who your customer avatar is. You've already put in all the work and you know exactly who you're speaking to. Now, when you're creating content, I suggest to choose 6 zones of value. And actually, that's not just me that suggests it. This is something that a lot of the top business coaches in the industry have suggested to their people as well. So you're getting good advice here, I promise, guys. But so you pick 6 zones of value. And I put a whole list of different things here. They can be anything. Like for Mary, it could be being a teacher. For Becky, it can be being a mom, your new puppy that you have. And like, I love how you talk about like the chaos in life. I think it's so great because I relate to it so much. And the fact that you're willing to put it out there when not everybody is willing to be that transparent just draws me in and I want to read more, especially when it comes to plumbing. For some reason, I see all of your plumbing posts. And Amanda always has some kind of inspiration to put out there. She has her daughter's cheerleading things going on. She always has something that makes me want to know more about what's happening. So all of these things can be your brand that you're building. I put together a whole list of just random things in there, and some of them are things that I've been using, and it is definitely not limited to this list. But if you pick 6 areas, and I'm going to show you in a little bit what my 6 areas are, your 6 like areas of genius or your 6 zones, maybe one of these is cussing like a sailor. That's okay. If you feel really comfortable around people that cuss, that have tattoos, that tell it like it is and are unapologetically themselves, then put that on your list. If that is where you will feel most vibrant talking, then put that on your list for sure. And when you're creating your posts, make sure you're talking to that person. So on top of creating content, you guys know that my favorite app is Rana, and I love word swag too. And I think I've gotten Becky started in Rana as well. Hopefully, fingers crossed. You just need to play around in it. But I love these apps because they make it so simple for you guys to just crank out really quick content on the go. And once you know your branding, once you've figured out exactly what it is that your branding looks like, say you are watching a movie or you're at a conference or something, you hear a quote and you're like, oh my gosh, I need to post about that sometime. I just whip up Rana, I pull up a white blank screen, my fonts that I choose and the colors I choose, and I just crank it out and then I'm done. And I'm back to listening. And I can do it so quickly. It literally takes like 2 minutes of my time to create this post because I don't have to think about it. I already know what I'm doing. It took some time to get there. I had to play around in Rana. I had to try a lot of things. I was showing Amanda, I had this one branding. It was like a light blue circle with white wording inside. And it was supposed to be like a negative imprint because the words were white. I loved it. It spoke to me, but it didn't pop. It didn't pop at all. I feel like people were scrolling and no one was interacting, so I had to go back and tweak it. You're going to tweak it. So as you're choosing your own branding, there is zero pressure to make it perfect, guys. Before you say like, oh, I don't even know where to start, so I don't want to get myself caught up in it, there's zero pressure for it to be perfect because I tried like umpteen types of different branding before I settled on what I feel like is me. And in all honesty, as times change, I may tweak it again, and that's okay. But play around on it. One thing that I love on Rana is they have this font combos that you can go through, and they're fantastic. They're really great. There's a lot of them that I would use and a lot of them that I definitely wouldn't use. I put one of them together here where you see the script and the sans serif together. And when you're putting two fonts together, one has to be sans serif, which means essentially like plain Jane. It doesn't have any extras to it. There's no like little notches on it or swirly cues or anything. It is just bold, okay? And then the other one can be fun. It can be script, it can be serif, it can be something that has the extra little flair to it. But the general rule, and you'll see in this one on the right from WordSwag, you see you have that sans serif and you have a script font. It's combining the two, which draws your eye to see the serif or the script font that's on there. I know it's really technical, but this is industry standard for marketing, so I found it really important to teach you guys about it. As you're going through and posting your posts, say you have, maybe red's your color, like April, red is her color, so if she makes her impact words red, and the other stuff maybe black or gold or teal or whatever other supporting colors she chooses, her impact words, like say she has a quote and the main punchline of it is to love yourself. If she makes that in that sans serif in red in her iconic color, it will stand up so much more when people are scrolling and she'll see that kick it. So I love mixing these two fonts. Either they're short 6-word quotes, which if you're on Pinterest, so my favorite inspiration apps are Instagram and Pinterest. I go on Pinterest and I literally search 6-word quotes. I like super short quotes, especially because people have such a short attention span. It's great to be able to give them something that's short and impactful that I know that as they're scrolling, they'll still get the gist of it and be able to hit like or interact on it. So definitely use either Instagram or Pinterest. Instagram, you're going to have to look up hashtags and kind of weed through a lot of stuff, but it still has its value. And Pinterest is harder, like it's not as easy to take screenshots and use them on Pinterest, but that's almost better because then you can use your branding to create your own image from those quotes anyway. If you guys go to my Pinterest, you'll be able to see my board that I have on there that has my 6-word quotes or short quotes. I'm not sure exactly what I have it called. You can either follow that or you can see your own. And like April was talking about, last week or the week, I think it was the week before, as you're at a quote and say it's 6 words or whatever, you can scroll down from it and see the similar options as well. And you'll have a host of different quotes that you will look at and decide, does this speak to my ideal customer profile? And you'll decide from then whether or not to post it. So definitely play around in Rana. WordSwag is another favorite. I showed you one on the right here that has that wooden boards behind it, but I feel like if you were scrolling, would that stop you? Like, would that be something that is clear cut and cohesive enough that would stop you from scrolling? For me, it wouldn't, because it's too much going on. I really like the wood. I really like the tones to it. It makes me feel comfortable, but would it make me stop scrolling? And the answer is no. For me, a lot of the plain colors, or honestly, guys, a simple white background will do so much for you because it takes the attention away from the word or away from the background and puts it on the words. When you are creating an image, you don't want it to be confusing for your audience. If it takes them any longer than like 3 seconds to figure it out, you've lost them. It is such a fast-paced world when it comes to social media. So I like to take away any distractions. Sometimes I'll put like a little image at the bottom, a little cartoon or a graphic, but it's at the bottom, it's after the words, and it's not clustering anything up. I highly suggest you guys streamline it, make it super simple for your readers to understand what it is you're saying. You don't want them searching around the page to try to figure it out. While I'm on here and I'm talking about inspiration, Pinterest, if you go there and you type in branding boards, there are so many great Pinterest inspiration boards for branding where they'll show you different color combinations, different patterns for the backgrounds and fonts and things like that. And I love it. I love looking at different brands. I love seeing what's trendy and what's happening for other people. At the same time, say you see a font that you totally love, I highly suggest taking it and looking to see if there's anything in an app such as Rana or WordSwag, that is similar. That way you have that super easy ability to create it on the go without having to pop into something like Photoshop or PicMonkey to get it done. You guys want it to be as streamlined and easy as possible in order to make your business something that you can do snappy on the go. So this is my branding snapshot that I put together, and it's something that I use as my go-to to help me figure out what is a good post, what is a bad post, and what kind of color feels I like. You'll notice on the right, I use the checkerboard concept on my Instagram, and the checkerboard concept is what actually started me to want to figure out my brand. I saw it on someone else's Instagram, and I thought, oh my gosh, I just feel so relaxed there. I feel so understanding of their concept. It's clear and it's clean, and I'm not confused at all. And that's what I wanted to give other people by doing that checkerboard concept on my Instagram. So that is actually a big, important part to me. So my branding, my 6 zones are: it's patriotic, creates community. I really do not want to draw people in who are not into community, because honestly, I don't think they'll make a good client, and they won't make a good coach. It's community so important to me that I feel like it should be important to the people I work with as well. Embracing imperfection. I like to make a joke of how imperfect I am as like a housewife, in mommyhood, all of those things. I want to embrace my imperfections so that I can pull on people that understand that and are, I don't know the word, they understand it, and they also feel relieved that they don't have to put on airs around me. Does that make sense, guys? Like, I want to draw in people that are not fearful of judgment around me, because I'm not going to judge them. Positive mindset junkie, that's on there because I want to draw in people that are willing to make a change in their lives. Maybe they're needing some positive mindset help, but more than that, they're willing to do the work to get there. Pay it forward. I want people who are really committed to making a change in the world. And then health and fitness. And you guys, you'll notice that is literally last on my list. We are health and fitness coaches. We would think it would be first, but it absolutely is not. And that is okay, because while we help people with health and fitness, I actually don't care what people weigh. I don't care what it says when they stand on the scale. I don't care what they look like. I do, however, care about how they feel when they look in the mirror. I do care about how they feel leaving their front door, because I know what it's like to be afraid to do that. So those are the important things for my ideal customer profile. And those are my 6 areas that I like to put out value in. Now, also, you'll see my little graphic that shows what my focal word is like, what my serif font is like, the colors that I'm going to use. The little triangles over there are the color tones that I'd like to stick to in my posts. Now, not everything's going to be blue and red, but as I'm going through my filters, you're on Instagram and you're going through the different filters and trying to figure out which one looks good on the photo. You should have a branding concept that helps you figure out which filter will look good with your branding, not just good with that photo, so that when someone sees your overall view of your page, it all blends cohesively. So some last tips to go through on this is when you're creating posts, no fluff. There should be no posts that you put out there just because you have to post something. Anytime you're posting something, if you ask yourself, yeah, so at the end, if you cannot answer that, if you cannot answer why it provides value to your ideal customer profile, then you need to tweak the wording to add that value. If it doesn't attract your ideal audience, if it doesn't inform your ideal audience, or it doesn't uplift your ideal audience, tweak it so it does. You could literally have a picture of a rock in the grass and change the wording so that it could speak exactly to your ideal customer profile, depending on the twist you put into the words. So use that ability. I love this quote at the right. And when I told you guys, if you have your branding figured out, you'll be able to crank out a graphic with your branding easy peasy. When I was on the cruise, Siggy was talking about top posting on social media, and he said this quote, and I literally cranked it out within 2 minutes and got it saved in my phone because it was such a good quote. He said, Never make a point without a story, and never tell a story without a point. And I loved this because we should never have a graphic that has no story attached to it. If we are not saying why that personally means something to us, what we've been through, what we have learned from it, and how that can help them move forward, we're losing like this major opportunity to be transparent with them. We're losing this opportunity to say, like, I'm a real person just like you, and I've been through this just like you, and this is why you should trust me on this journey. So attract. You'll, as you're posting something, say you're posting that picture of the rock in the grass, you're going to attract your lifestyle, personality, or hobbies. Maybe you're talking about how you love nature, or how this, maybe this rock reminds you of your childhood. Maybe childhood is part of your story that you're putting out there, your branding. Maybe it's something that just tweaks this memory in you, or reminds you of solitude. I mean, you could go so deep in a rock. You know what I mean? It's crazy what you can do with it if you put some thought through it. Pardon me. So attract is actually going to be the majority of your posts. This is where say you're a teacher like Mary. A lot of her posts are as she's at school getting ready for the day, or she's taking a break, or she's doing all these different things. And every time she uses one of those posts and talks about it, she's attracting her ideal audience by talking about what's going on in her life at that time. So attract is actually going to be a lot of your posts, and most of your posts can go through that. Inform is something that we should all be working on doing regularly. This is posting tips, tricks, recipes, DIY, different things that add value to the lives of the people that are watching your posts. You want something that says, like I posted one that was about rotisserie chicken. It was like 20 some ways to use your rotisserie chicken, and people loved it and were sharing it like crazy because it added value. I didn't even create that. I just went to Google and I searched like how to use rotisserie chicken, and I found a really fantastic website and shared it. And that works, guys. As long as you're providing value, you can be sharing things from other resources. You can say what works for you, or you can say what things you found. So Inform is another good one that helps us provide a value for free to people, which helps them believe that we are worthy of investing in. Uplifting is the third category, and for that, I like to do quotes. I love a good portion of my business to be quotes, to be vulnerability posts. Vulnerability posts are those types of posts that makes you like terrified to hit enter because you don't know what's going to happen. But at the same time, anytime you're scared to hit enter, it's probably going to change someone's life. So you should. As long as it tells a story and it shows you as triumphant in the end and inspires someone to make a change, those are amazing. Shout outs. One thing that you can either do shout outs from our team, from misFITspiration, from misFit for Public, any of those. And another great way to find shout outs to post is to go on to teambeachbody.com itself. And in the center, what's usually the center, I guess maybe it moves around, of the main page, you'll see different success stories pop up every day. And you're more than welcome to use those stories, to use those graphics, and to share them on your personal page as well, if that appeals to your ideal customer profile. Say you want to work with people that have 50 plus pounds to lose, and you've already figured this out in your ideal customer profile. You're not going to share a transformation story of someone who went from 105 to 100. You're literally not going to share this because you know that your ideal customer profile is going to be like, and just scroll right on past. If it were me, like, not impressed. I'm sorry. This sounds terrible, but I'm just not. Like, it does not excite me whatsoever, and it will not excite my customer profile. So make sure that as you're filling that out, your customer profile, you know visually what it is that they need as well. Success stories can mean from your coaching family, from your challengers. It could mean something as simple as like someone has given up pop. I say that as simple as, but any of you guys who have struggled with fighting off the addiction to pop knows that it's not something small. It was a major life change for me, and it changed a lot. So shout outs like that also show people that you have value to bring and that you're super excited for people who make those changes, and they'll trust you in making those changes too. So this is my presentation on branding. I'm going to stop the share if I can find it. I have loved the branding side. I probably 2 months ago started really honing in on the branding for Instagram, which obviously I have it paired with my Facebook so that it all rolls together. And since I've had so much great feedback from people, as they've said, every time I see one of your posts, I just know it's you. It just feels so cohesive, and I'm excited to hear what you have to say next. And those moments really excite me because I feel like I'm on the right track. And I want for you guys to feel confident about what you're posting as well. So if you have any questions along the way, if you need help in brainstorming your own brand, please reach out to me and we will figure it out together. So that is all I have for the call tonight. I'm going to stop the recording.